This episode of the Adam Carolla Show is brought to you by FreshBooks, the easy online invoicing service that gets you paid quickly and makes you look professional. Get started with a free package at freshbooks.com.
You're listening to the Ace Broadcasting Network. From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, and streaming live on Ustream, thanks to New Text TriCaster, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Today, Adam sits down one-on-one with the Red Rocker, Sammy Hagar. And now, a man whose career was also influenced by David Lee Roth being a nut job, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get it on. Mandate. Get it on. Sammy Hagar sitting here. Sammy Hagar, I'm wildly distracted because I can't hear myself in my headphones very well.
You got to crank it up. And
I got it turned all the way up.
11.
There it is.
11.
Thank
you have it to 11?
It is now, baby.
Can you hear me okay?
The Red Rocker. Sammy Hagar, a million questions to ask you. First off, I feel like you're perpetually 19, but I remember listening to your hit rock song, Red. I think it was just called Red.
Yeah.
Back when I was in junior high. And we look about the same age. I think you feel better than I do. So I don't know how old you are. Can you tell me how old you are?
Yes, sir, I can. I can remember that. I'm 63 years old.
That is insane.
I know.
It's insane.
Tell me about it. How do you think I feel?
When you were a kid and you thought of like a 63-year-old guy.
Oh, he wasn't. Can we say any kind of language?
Any language you want.
He wasn't getting no pussy, you didn't think?
No
sure.
pussy.
No, absolutely
Minus
none.
pussy. Zero pussy.
But it's
negative
not that
pussy.
way, pal.
No, but he didn't have. I mean, look, anyone can do whatever they want with their hair, but in your 60s,
this is real.
No, I know it's not stuck to you, but what I just mean is you don't sound. Look, I mean, it's not. What I mean is, Larry King is an old guy who wears young guy blue jeans, and he looks older because he's trying to wear younger blue jeans. You just look like Sammy Hagar. It's just Sammy. Maybe if you called yourself Samuel Hagar immediately, maybe there's a picture of you aging in a basement somewhere with the name of Samuel Hagar.
Oh, Adam, you're going right straight to the stuff here, baby.
Unbelievable
Come on,
that you're 63 years old.
I'm telling you, my whole life I've always said, maybe my mother lied. It seems like when I was like in junior high, I was the littlest guy in the school. Mm-hmm. I was the last guy to shave. I was the last guy to get pubic hair, you know. Yeah. It's like, I think my mom...
You'll be the last guy to die, is basically what you're saying. No, your growth is retarded. It's stunted. No, I've talked to Dr. Drew about this before.
About me?
No, not specifically.
Oh, yeah.
Although your name has come up and in its connection to tequila, but that's another story. No, the guys that have late onset puberty.
Yeah.
The guys with the guys who are 50 and sort of still look like boys are the same dudes who live till 90. It's almost like life has been slowed down for them.
I've done all the same things you and everybody else have done. Drinking, drugs, sex, partying, staying up all night,
It's good genes.
I guess so.
And so let's go back and we'll work our way forward. Do you start out in the Bay Area?
No, I actually started out in Southern California, in Fontana, California.
Yeah,
I was born.
Fontana.
I was born in Salinas, up by Monterey, Carmel area.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and then immediately my parents came down to Fontana Steel, where my dad got a job in a steel mill.
Fontucky.
Yeah.
And by the way, Monterey, like going from Monterey.
But we were living in Salinas. I was born in Monterey County Hospital.
All right. Anywhere near Monterey to Fontana is like going from Disneyland to Beirut.
You're pretty close.
Well, I've been in Fontana. I've hung out a little in Fontana.
I grew up there. I left there in 68. And there's San Francisco.
Big steel industry there, and they built the California Speedway there. and did some vintage racing there. We were just talking off the air about it. But still next to, in the shadow of the Speedway is still what looks like an old industrial, I don't know what, and I don't know if that's where your dad worked or not.
My dad worked right where the Speedway is, in the open heart of Kaiser Steel. Now, Kaiser Steel was, the reason why that place was all smogged out and crazy. I mean, it shut down. When it shut down, that town got poor, and we were part of that. So I grew up poor.
People need to know that Kaiser Steel is the same Kaiser Permanente Hospital.
Yeah.
Kaiser built Liberty ships. He had a steel plant to build those Liberty ships that essentially won World War.
He built a car.
He built a car, too.
Remember that car? Yeah.
He got to the point where he was building those cargo ships for World War II in like 27 hours or something. Absolutely insane how fast he kicked in, and he was part of the whole, industrial might and awaking the sleeping giant and all that stuff. But he did that, and then he had so many employees. You imagine you're building Liberty ships. I mean, you're building these huge merchant marine ships, how huge an undertaking that is, how many employees you have. He started his own health care thing for those employees, and then that just became Kaiser Permanente.
Yeah,
but
he was a real industrial, really a leading kind of a big, industrial leader and all that stuff. But I think he got himself in some kind of a crazy financial situation, like with all those employees. And then when the war stopped, I don't really know what happened.
He didn't come by for dinner very often.
I've never met Henry
never
J.
came by
myself,
the Hagar,
but I like Henry J's.
So
you're 427 and a Henry J. You got a Moons and Cook or whatever, Woods and Cook.
Your dad worked there from like what years to what year?
I don't really remember, but my dad, my parents split up around 58, 59. So my dad kind of worked there up until about 58, 59, then he became a homeless guy.
Homeless?
Oh, yeah.
And
he went all the way.
Your parents got divorced?
Yeah, I don't think they ever really got divorced.
Mine didn't either.
Yeah, they just split up.
It's funny, when you're so goddamn poor, you have no assets to split up.
Yeah, exactly.
Why get lawyers involved? Why fill out paperwork? I'll just hit the road.
That's what happened. My mom just left him for good. In the book, on the first chapter, it's really all about that. And it's like, when I read it now, it still kind of breaks my heart.
Read, by the way, My Uncensored Life in Rock is the name of Sammy Hagar's new book. I was just checking it out on iTunes, actually. In the top 10 on the, I was looking at the iTunes audiobook. 7 hours and something minutes, by the way. So plenty of time there. But Sammy did not read it. I don't know who read it. I didn't recognize the dude's name.
I did. I don't even know who read it either. I wanted to read it, but then I thought, you know what? I'd have a hard time seeing I'm setting you up, Adam. I don't mean to, but I know I have no choice because I'm like bait. I mean, I just chomp at this. I just chomp at this shit. I see fish go by, but I would have had a hard time with some of the dirt in there, the bad times in Van Halen, reading the thing, instead of just going, and so Eddie walked into the room, it'd be like, and he walked into the room, and I would probably show anger, and so I didn't want to even try to do that.
Yeah. Well, who is, and then we'll go back and we'll go forward. We'll toggle back and forth.
And we don't have to do nothing chronologically.
No. Hell no. I don't even know what that means.
Oh.
David Lee Roth is fucking nuts. I mean, that guy's nuts, and not in a fun kind of way. It doesn't, or it seems like fun for a while kind of way, and then wildly annoying. But the man's ego's way too big for whatever room he's in. Eddie Van Halen also seems, I don't know if it's drugs or I don't know what it is, but I can't quite get a handle on Eddie Van Halen's personality. How would you describe Eddie Van Halen?
The first Eddie I met when I joined the band in 85, 86, sweetest, most humble, genius little musician, but just so cool. There he is. Mm-hmm. That guy. He was out of sight. He drank, did drugs. We did it together, everything. We had a blast, But he was just such a nice guy. And when our manager, Ed Loeffler, died in 95, and they got Alex's brother-in-law, Ed now got Alex's brother-in-law to manage the band, and he came in and divided and conquered. He went to those guys Hagar's the enemy. You guys, here's what we're going to do. We'll do what you guys want to do. And, I mean, all this stuff was going on behind my back, so I don't know exactly what he was telling him, but he turned that guy into a friggin' monster. He turned this guy into, it's your, this guy said, it's your band, because I was running the band. When Roth was in the band, he was running the band, because those guys were humble. They just, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to wake up at 2 o'clock tomorrow, I want to go in the studio. Okay. I said, what do you guys want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? It's all, yeah. So I kind of became the leader by default,
Well, you were the leader of a band before Van Halen.
But it's so funny how they just let me take over the band. And I wasn't taking over. Since when I left the band, they've taken it back over now. But this guy told Eddie, it's your band. You need it, and so Eddie all of a sudden became this monster. Well, I want to do it this way. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'd be go, okay. Well, okay. We'll say, what color you want the album cover? I want it white. And they'd go, no, we want it black. I'd say, okay, yeah, black's cool. No, we want it white. It's like, okay, white's cool. No, we want this as long as it wasn't what I wanted.
Right.
And it just he became a monster on me.
Well, the fucking band was called Van Halen. Isn't that enough? I mean, I'm not saying to you. I'm saying for Eddie. Like, how are we ever really going to get you out of here? The name of the band is your last name.
Yeah, we're not going to fire the guitar player, okay?
Even if we did, it'd still be called Van Halen. What else do you need to know? So, now, just to play devil's advocate, if Eddie Van Halen was sitting here and I said, what's the deal with Sammy Hagar? What do you think he would say?
Should I try to do it like he would say it?
Yeah, say it how he would say it.
I don't know. The guy just, I don't know, man. He just took his toys and went home. I don't know.
Yeah, so he's just kind of playing a victim.
Yeah.
And as if he didn't know. And is he
Charlie Sheen? Oh,
wow,
no.
he is
See, that's what happened to Eddie. That's the guy I met when I came back for the reunion. Don't you love that picture? How can you do this to me?
Eddie, like in the picture
nightmare.
We're looking at, not only looks like Charlie Sheen, but also a little like David Lee Roth, if you sort of get rid of the hair.
Craziness.
If you made the hair... Well, let me tell you something, Sammy. I have this theory that if you think gay thoughts enough, you'll start looking gay. And if you think happy thoughts enough, you'll look happy. And if you think crazy thoughts enough, you'll start looking crazed.
Adam, I think you might be onto something.
And if you think evil thoughts enough, you'll start looking evil. Whatever you're thinking about enough, you will start looking like that. And when you see guys who look fucking nuts, it's because they're fucking nuts. And when you see guys that look fucking gay, it's because they're fucking gay. I mean, it's like you start looking like what you're thinking about.
Yeah, and
racists look like racists.
Yes. And
well, no different than dogs. You can see a dog and see what they're thinking.
I think it's fantastic. I believe if you look at timeless things enough, you won't age. See? Here we go. If you look at a mountain that's been there for 2 million years and it's unchanged, you stare at it enough. When you finally lock in for 3 seconds, you take 3 seconds off your aging process. It's almost like that in oceans, looking at the sky, things that have been there for billions of years.
Sammy Hagar has been staring at a Twinkie for the last 50
on my friggin'
years.
back looking at the sky, buddy.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Well, see, no, seriously, like
On the beach.
when I see you, and it's going to sound like so much fluff, but take it.
Easy.
No, just take this. What I'm saying is when I see you, I see a guy who looks comfortable in his own skin. I see a guy who looks happy. I met Sammy 13 years ago when we did Loveline on MTV. He looked the same. He acted the same. He felt the same. He didn't seem uncomfortable in his own skin. He seemed like a guy who, liked to have a good time, but also knew getting a little exercise was probably a decent idea on occasion as well. He should hop on a mountain bike now and again. And when you take a look at, especially that picture of Eddie Van Halen,
no, we had enough of that.
He looks like a mad scientist there.
There's a nice.
So you met a sane, young, nice Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah,
and he seemed all right, and then things started
It was
turning.
great for 9 years.
And you guys had a wild amount of success.
9 years. We had the fun. We kicked butt. We did everything you could possibly do and had a blast doing it. And like I say, just the last year of the first run in 95, Ed and Al both kind of turned on me with the manager dude, and they ousted me. They said they went and got Dave back. And I found out from Gary Cherone, they tried him out while I was still in the band.
Wow.
And the guy managed him. But, I mean, why would they even do that? You tell me. Here's the biggest band in the world, all #1 albums, making billions of dollars and as much success. Why do you got to get rid of your singer?
But it's
at that time, and since then they've floundered.
But I would say that to Saddam Hussein, who's now headless and in an unmarked grave, or while someone is currently urinating upon it, which is, look, you had all the land, all the pussy, all the cars, all the castles, all the palaces, all the shit. You had it all. You had everything you wanted. But you had to get fucking greedy. Like, you had to go invade your neighboring countries. You had to have your sons go out on raping sprees. Like, it's all there. I mean,